42 years ago today, on January 21st, 1981, the very first DeLorean rolled off the line. With its sleek stainless steel body and gull-wing doors, the world had not seen anything like it. So a lot of y'all wanted a tour of this car. Let's do it more in depth right here, much longer than what we did on TikTok. So this particular DeLorean is a May 1981 build. So it's going to have a couple things that the newer DeLoreans didn't have. This was very early in the production because the first car came off the line actually today, January 21st. So this square right here is actually a gas flap. This is your trunk up here. And very shortly after this car was made, they switched production to a flat hood and people actually have to pop the entire trunk in order to fill their car up. This car also has the dark gray wheels. They went to a lighter color scheme on the wheels on the newer cars. This is what the trunk looks like with the hood pop. So obviously it didn't come with the fire extinguisher or the inflator or even this brace, which this brace helps keep a little bit more front end stability. But this was the trunk. It's not very deep, and underneath the carpet you have your spare tire, and in this little panel here you have your jack. And right there is where you fill up your windshield washer fluid. The car is rear engine. You have louvers on the back and underneath a 6-cylinder Peugeot, Renault, Volvo engine. Despite what people say about this car, it's actually very reliable as long as you drive it. Outside of obviously the gull-wing doors and stainless steel body, one thing that was very unique about this car was that it was very, very high-end as far as features go. In 1981, this car had everything you could want on it. It had power mirrors, power windows, power door locks, air conditioning, and a cassette deck, which might seem antiquated now, but in 1981, that technology was brand new. Another thing I'll show you is the window. So as you can see, you have a very small window. That's all that goes down. All right? And the reason for that, according to John DeLorean, was because toll booth windows were going to be the future, that you weren't going to need anything. That's what he told investors. The truth of the matter is that this dream team of engineers, which really were a dream team, I'm not being sarcastic, could not figure out how to design this door with this window going all the way down. I've also added heated seats, and I've also added a aftermarket child safety restraint, so my daughter's car seat can ride in it. And don't worry, it's completely removable. So let's talk about the storage behind me. John DeLorean marketed this car as the bachelor who's made it. This area, minus my subwoofer, is big enough to hold a set of golf clubs. And that's what it was meant for. John liked playing golf. Colin Chapman of Lotus liked playing golf. Everyone who designed this car was into it. They were also, John DeLorean and Colin Chapman were 6'4", 6'3", respectively. So the car has surprisingly more room than you would think. Now, to give you the history on this particular car, this car has actually been a Nashville car its entire life. I had another one before it and sold it to buy this one because it had low miles. It had a black interior, which I really wanted, and it was a May build. The car is exactly pretty much 1 year older than me. Now, from what I could tell, though, is the last time this car had ran was 1987. That was the last time the previous owner had registered it. This car was owned by a man named Charlie Talent, who apparently was the person you wanted on your record. He was a sound engineer and apparently incredibly good at it. All I can think of that happened was something happened. The DeLorean Motor Company went to receivership in 1982-83, and there was no way to really get parts. All I can think is that something must have happened. The car broke down and he couldn't get parts, and it just fell into disrepair and sat for another 30 years. But when this car was brand new, it was incredibly expensive. It cost $25,000 then, and a lot of times sold over sticker, which is the equivalent of about $75,000 to $80,000 now. At the end of the day, though, the car is a lot of fun to drive. It gets a lot of attention, and unless you're really young, it was a part of all of our childhood. So this is a brief car tour, believe it or not. If you guys want more detail on it, or to give you more history on the car, the restoration process, etc., I can do that, or even the history of DeLorean Motor Company itself, because it is really an interesting and colorful history.